Well, I'm glad you want all these things for the world. What do you want for you, Hazel?
I would love, well, it's funny, when Michael thought I had this lovely, as he said, shopping list.
Uh-huh.
In the back of my blue notebook, I keep thinking of things that it's possible to have now. And one of the things that I realized it was possible perhaps to have is kind of a not have, that I haven't figured out what is the to have. But the not have is not to be jealous.
Okay. So, you want to not be jealous. And who is it that you get jealous concerning?
With my husband.
Okay. So you love him a lot.
Yeah.
You love him a lot. And tell me about a situation in which this jealousy occurs, so I get...
Right. Well, there's no, I know that there's no real reason to be jealous in the sense of that he...
philanderer,
right,
cheat.
Right. No, I know that's not the case. And still it comes up if, for instance, even at a party, if he's spending a lot of time talking with one woman alone, I can feel myself.
What's the... Is that sort of like the daggers come out and the fangs come out?
No, it's like, well, just I choke up around here and I go, eek, and...
You don't put a little sign on him that says, property of Hazel?
No. No. As a matter of fact, I pretend like I don't know him.
Oh, great. I'm sorry. You pretend like you don't know
well,
him?
in the sense of, I'm not
I'm now going to negatively hallucinate what's going on right over there. And I'm just having a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Exactly. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Now I'm going to leave the room, but I'm...
Right, exactly. And then I try and go out and entertain myself somehow. You know.
Oh, well, we're laughing, but that must be very unpleasant.
Yeah, it's just, I know it's silly.
Well, you know that.
Yeah, but it still feels, that it doesn't feel so good.
Okay, so you don't want that to be the case.
No.
Now, all right. How long have you been married?
A little over a year.
A little over a year.
Yeah.
How long did you go together before that?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, well, so you guys know each other.
Yeah, and we've been living together 2 years before that. So.
Well, great that there's still a lot of intensity and all of that.
More than ever.
More than ever?
Yeah.
More than ever?
Yeah, in a way, you know, it's sweeter for me.
Okay, well, this is what I'd like to start by doing, okay? First thing I'd like you to do is I'd like you to tell me about some things about yourself that you are really pleased with, that you feel proud of, that you appreciate.
Let's see. No, I can think of some things. The first thing that comes up immediately is my work with people.
Okay. All right. So you appreciate yourself for the work that you do with people.
Right.
Okay.
That's...
What kind of a quality, what kind of an attribute would you connect with the work that you do with people?
Well, I really care about them, getting what they want.
What about something just for you, about you, that doesn't have to do with other people?
Well, I got a great sense of humor.
We're going to use that a lot.
Well, yeah, and so I can, it's like I'm a good kid to be with when I let myself be. It's I can even laugh and have fun.
Okay. What about when you're miserable?
Well, I'm finding out something just lately, and that is that if I'm kind, I can be very kind.
Yes.
If I'm not kind when I'm miserable, I can be miserable to the nth degree. But if I remember to be kind to myself, then I actually can be very kind.
Okay, so when you're feeling bad, you can also be kind to yourself. So it's not like you have an expectation about some unpleasant state, just it should be gone and you get on your case for it being there.
Getting on my case has been the ongoing mode, because then I thought I could crack the whip and get myself back into shape. And what I've discovered in the last months is that what gets me back into shape faster is a kind voice. And it's a little trick of remembering. I kind of have to go, wait a minute.
So when you do that kind voice to yourself and you encourage yourself?
Well, I say it's going to be all right. Let's check this out. We can figure it out. Why are you flubbing it here? You know, I mean, what can
can
is
you
there
do
something
different?
you need? Is this flub helping? You know, kind of talk to myself like that a little bit.
So
Not
it's a
unlike-
voice that believes in you?
Well, let's see. It's funny. I just realized it's not unlike the voice I use with my clients. It's kind of light and kind of with that faith that you can do it.
Yeah. What's going on, though?
Well, it's like,
I hear this, but I notice that there's a different
it's like
response.
it's not. It's very difficult to be forgiving.
To yourself? Well, why is forgiving about what?
Well, just even little mistakes, you know. And it's funny. It's this voice that I've been trying to remember to use doesn't feel that way, but that's only like one little part.
Okay, now wait. This voice that it doesn't really feel that way. It doesn't feel like.
Well, it doesn't feel like I'm not deserving of consideration and forgiveness, and you know, it feels like, hey, you know, she's a good kid, as good as any client, you know.
She's a person.
Yeah, we can be there for her, and then other parts of me just think it's hopeless. You know, kind of forget it. That's.
Oh, okay, one of these parts that thinks forget it. There really is a part that thinks forget it. Yeah, I believe it. Okay, wait. All right, we're going to contact that part, but it doesn't need to be overwhelming right now.
Right. No, I just was double checking anyway.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's there.
All right, because I want to work with that part, find out about it. First of all, I would like you to take a deep breath. You can take more than one even. You don't have to get it all in one.
Right.
And all those feelings aren't going to go away with just a couple of breaths, but they will get a little better. You're going to feel a little bit better. And that voice, you can hear the kind voice, the one that believes in you and encourages you, the one that knows that you don't always have to be perfect and right and graceful and beautiful and smart and the one that, it's like, Hazel, can you imagine yourself doing something in some situation where you were tremendously awkward and just blew it? You can imagine that. Okay, got that.
I could use another Kleenex here if I could.
Okay, sure.
Thanks. That's great.
There we go.
Good. Yeah, I can imagine that.
You can imagine that.
Yeah.
All right. Now, can you imagine how that looks to your husband?
Let's see.
How does seeing you do something really awkward and blowing, and how does it look to him?
Oh, he's pretty kind to me. So.
It's sort of like, you make it sound as if we're talking about working with the mentally retarded. He's kind, huh?
Yeah.
He'll come over and sort of kick you while you're down.
No, but that's important because he's much cooler about me than I am. You know, in the sense of, it's fine. So
Yeah, he loves you.
Yeah, you flubbed it.
Yeah, he
So
loves you,
what?
even with the flubbing. It's like it gives texture to his life with you.
I'm not sure about that. It definitely adds texture. I am sure
Yes,
about that.
you're-
But whether it's terrific or not,
Did you ever realize that in 3 years, it's like this man knows you. He knows you in all your seasons, so to speak. He knows you when you're feeling poorly, about yourself or about him. He's, I'm sure by now, faced your anger, all kinds of things, as well as your love and your passion and your sweetness and your kindness. He knows you and he loves you. That's a lot, you know. That's not like being loved by a client. That's your husband. I mean, it's really something.
yeah.
So, but it doesn't, how do you know he loves you besides that he's patient
Well, let's see. Okay. All right. Well, I'll go for it. Let's see. Well, he tells me jokes.
He tells you jokes. Okay, so he tells you jokes.
Right.
At the right times?
Yeah, because he knows that I love jokes. You know, so he gets them to tell me.
How did he get you to love him?
I don't know. I loved him immediately. I mean, I just went.
Yes, just everything went. The bells were ringing.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. So let's see. He didn't have to get me to love him, but why I still love him is because well, he's real willing to go for it with me.
So he's there with you.
Yeah.
And he's willing to go for it. Now, what do you mean by go for it with you?
Well, it's
What's he
like-
willing to go for?
It's like to go for making our life more terrific together, to checking things out that aren't going perfectly and figuring out solutions and then going, yeah, let's do that. And kind of that feeling of just the fun of making things more and more fun.
So it doesn't have to be perfect.
No.
And he's not afraid to look at what isn't all that you want it to be.
Right.
And to go about doing things.
Right, and to talk about it, communicate about
So
it.
you're so important to him that he's willing to do that.
Yeah.
He would not risk losing you or letting it fall below a level of mutual enjoyment, satisfaction, pleasure.
No, I don't think
He's
so.
not willing to do that.
I don't think so.
So you're that important to him.
Yeah, I think so.
It's not something that, it's like, doesn't have to worry about or think about or pay attention to or take for granted or...
Yeah. He likes to do all those things, pay attention and yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that before. Isn't that great?
Yes, it is. Now I want to know something else. What did you do to get him to love you? You don't have to tell it all. All right.
Well, okay. I tell him jokes. And I just think he's neat, and that's clear. I just go, and I think that, I just go, and
So when you go, like that, when you go, and so how does that get him to love you?
well,
I know.
Well, I
but-
can see that makes him feel good. He kind of goes, oh, she's going, and then he kind of goes, and then we're both going, Isn't this eloquent?
Definitely.
But
Yes.
that's the feeling, more like, I think, that he was so delighted that someone found him so delightful and continues to. I find him more delightful all the time, really.
So you bring out all that he is. You let him be more than he would be without you.
I'm not sure about that.
Oh, come on. When you go, and look at him, and he responds like that, fully, it's like whatever you're responding to him. That's the whole thing about being in a couple relationship. It's about detecting and responding to those parts of one another that make you more than you would be alone.
Right. No, I can, yes. I can.
So
yeah,
it really sounds
Yeah.
like, while he is with you,
Right.
and throughout that period, that's why does he want to be with you? Why does he want to stay with you? Why does he really care enough to take risks and to look at what's not right because he never wants to lose you? Is because he's more of who he wants to be with you. It's like being with you isn't a subtraction. It's not a compromise. It's an expansion.
Yeah, I can see that.
And you do that for him.
Yeah, that's easy.
That's easy, huh? All the things you take for granted. And you say he's with you because he's patient. You know he loves you, he's patient. Okay, well, so you know that there are those things.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, he also sounds like a great guy. He
Yeah.
also sounds like he's very important to you and your emotional well-being. Okay. So I understand. I'm not into people not ever being jealous. I think you can count. Oh, here it comes in. Hey, wait a minute. Come back. Come back. What just happened?
Well, I like going, well, it would be terrible to lose him.
Yeah, but it's like,
I mean, I would
already
manage.
you're already into grief.
I know it's so simple to go to.
It's like he's already gone.
Right, that hallucination.
You're already into grieving over the relationship's gone, and now I have to go in and do the dishes by myself. Well, we're going to change that. We're going to have to slow it down some, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, now jealousy, it occurs.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose him.
No. Mm-mm.
So, you want...
man.
Okay. Now, there's a couple things I want you to check. I want you to as far off in the distance as you need to, as small as you need to, so that it isn't overwhelming. I'd like you to see the last time you saw him interacting with another woman. All right, so you remember it. Okay.
It helps to make them real small.
Yeah, and far away, right. We'll move it up closer later, but you keep it way out there.
Yeah.
Okay, now you remember that. You can come back over here for a minute. Now, when that situation occurred, were you at a social, in a social situation?
Right.
Okay, all right. Now, I want you to dig in, look, it's way over there. All right, and you can detect some of those feelings of jealousy.
Right.
All right. Now, when you first get it, is the first response, what? Is it a jolt?
Yeah. And
your breath. Yes, and the voice goes.
Is this choking feeling in here?
All right, and you recognize that as jealousy. So it's not anger, and it's not grief.
Well, gosh, it could be other things, I guess, but it definitely is the first thing that happens.
Okay. Now, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to look way over there closely, and I want you to look at the interacting. And I want you to, what are the qualities in what you see to tell you the difference between an interaction between two people, two interested people, and the interaction between a man and a woman?
Fascinating question. Well, they are a man and a woman.
Yes, this you can tell. Subtle hints.
And like, it's funny. I mean, I'm embarrassed to say this, but that's almost enough.
Well, and
right, I kind of like stop there. You know, I mean.
Well, no, yeah, we're going to make some more. We're going to. You have lots of examples, so we can find some that are of one and some that are of another.
I can think of him with my mother. That's a man and a woman. And but I mean, what's the difference here?
Well, you trust Mom anyway. That's good.
Right. Well. Oh, God. Yeah, I do. No, I'm teasing. No, I'm teasing. So let me.
So look at. Keep it as far as you need to. But what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take a look, and I want you to make. So if it was a man talking to him, it'd be no problem. Okay. But could you tell if it was a man talking to him, if the man was interested in him in a romantic way?
You know, gosh, I just realized it's lucky the guy's not bisexual. You know, I mean,
this would be universally.
Yeah, it seems to be that it's a female.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it tells us that the first thing we need to do is to make a separation in terms of detecting when is it appropriate to be jealous and when is it something you can relax about.
Right. Good idea.
Yes. If it's something to be jealous about, I mean, your emotional well-being has some connection with what's going on with him. And you want to be protected from some big surprise. So it's like, you know.
I'm for keeping that.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. So, now, in that interaction, what kind of...
Well, then it's a very attractive female.
Okay.
So...
None. Okay, now, so far all we got is the exterior. How about how they're talking? What's their distance?
About 1.5 feet.
Okay, now does it look like, what's the symmetry of their bodies?
My husband is straight up and down, and the girl is asymmetrical.
Okay, so does she look like she's in one of those postures that are enticing and flirting?
Yeah.
She doesn't look like she's talking about nuclear reactors?
No.
Oh, okay. Wait, no, wait. It's not time to go there.
At least I don't feel like going to the kitchen anymore.
Good. That's great. That's great. So you're still there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really important for you to pay attention to the quality of the interaction.
Right.
Now, is she making a fool of herself?
Well,
Just take a look. Take a look. I mean, is she making a little bit of a fool of herself?
well, Root looks rather, my husband, looks rather skeptical. Come to think of it. He looks kind of slightly chagrined. I'm not sure why, but he looks slightly, skeptical's a better word. He's got his arms folded and one finger on his cheek, and he's kind of looking at her.
Mm-hmm.
But he looks a little skeptical.
Okay. All right. So he's checking out what she's saying and
Right.
what's going on here.
Right.
He is not leading her on.
No, definitely not. Definitely
Okay.
not.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you an aside.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't know your husband at all, but I never knew anyone who didn't need, on some level, or appreciate the idea of being attractive,
Yeah.
and that there are people in the world who would want them.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
I want to ask you something, very frankly. Do you want him to be able to have that experience?
Yes.
Okay.
I really thought about that, and definitely.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons I want to get rid of the jealousy. Is like, of course I want him to have that experience.
All right. So you want him to be able to feel attractive.
Absolutely. And I want...
And for him to
Right.
go, I'm so lucky to be with Hazel.
Right, right. And to feel like, yeah, I even would want him to think, this is a really nice woman. You know, I would want that kind of interchange. That, oh, yeah, I don't want to impoverish him behind my fear. I mean, I really don't.
I would come back. Don't forget it.
No,
there.
just looking at that girl, I was just thinking,
Well,
yeah, I mean, she's not a very good example because, you know.
great. What
Yeah.
is she not a very good example of?
Well, because I can see that he's not digging her. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
If you're with someone who, it's neat that they appreciate you, and you can kind of go, they appreciate me, and they're also very neat. That kind of makes it even neater.
And they have a good time
yeah.
together.
So she's not such a good example of that because he's not digging her so much now that I look at it.
How about that? Well, would you go find some other example of a time when you were jealous? And again, make a picture way out there.
Okay.
Little.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Not hard to find these, no.
Is the stockpile very large?
It's funny.
There it goes.
Yeah.
All right.
Well-
Now, again, is this in a social context?
Yeah.
Is this, all right.
And he's
Okay.
enjoying himself. He's really enjoying the conversation.
All right. How can you tell that?
Well, he's laughing, and they're laughing, and he doesn't see me at all. I mean, for a long time, like an hour.
Oh, well, all right. Let's go back to the beginning of this.
Yeah. And I mean,
Let's not go to the end of the hour. Let's start at the beginning when you first noticed them together.
yeah,
Okay, are they just the two of them?
right.
All right. And what's the quality of this interaction?
Well, they're warmly conversing. They're both sitting on the floor together, talking about something. They're both obviously.
So they're both sitting on the floor. They're sitting cross-legged across from each other,
No, they're
next to
sitting
each
next
other?
to each other with their arms around their own legs.
Okay, okay.
And they're involved in a conversation.
Okay. Now, so this there's a different quality to
Right.
this one than there's to the other one.
Definitely, because Root's involved.
All right. So it's not necessarily an enticing conversation, but there is an actual interaction going
and
on.
happiness. He's happy. I mean,
Okay.
I do want him to be happy. He's happy.
It's just that you always want to know that he can't be as happy with anyone else as he can be with you.
Is that all right?
Yes. Do you want me to say it again? Yes.
Well, it seems a little selfish, but it would be nice.
Go for it, Hazel.
Okay.
Yes, it's all right. You can want him to be happier with you than with anyone else. You love him. You are happier with him than you would be or with anyone else. Yeah? Yes, yeah, it is. It's fine for you to want that. The basis of you wanting it, it's not about pinning him in. It's not about locking him up. It's not about wanting him to be happy with you by denying him anything. It's that his being more of who he wants to be when he's with you. You know, and through the up times and the down times, it's like the two of you have made a commitment about spending a good piece of your life together. Probably, I mean, I don't know if you have a commitment that goes till death do us part no matter what, but I know your commitment absolutely is not to deny one another anything, but to contribute and to give. Absolutely. And it's not just about in the moment, it's about over time.
Yeah.
So it's like him wanting him to be happier with you than with anyone else. That's not a selfish thing. I mean, it's like, I'm going to keep you, and I don't give a damn if you're miserable, you know, or whatever. You said I do, that's it, turkey. Forget, what's this happiness crap? Who gives a crap, you know? No.
No.
Yes, yes. Yes. Besides that, you're wanting him to be happier with you, more fulfilled with you, is the motivator for you to give to him. So I want you to, it's like jealousy, that feeling. It's a feeling that goes, that man's very important to me. Okay? And that's a wonderful thing to know. I mean, what would happen, Hazel, if you didn't have it? What if you didn't have anything that said, this man is really important to me?
Oh gosh, we wouldn't be together.
No, and you'd be apt to make you would be apt to make terrible mistakes. See, if you,
mistakes.
like ignoring him,
Oh yeah.
like not keeping track of his well-being.
Right.
If you had nothing that went, this man's really important to me, he's really precious, and it is possible in the world to lose him. It is possible in the world to lose him. If you had nothing that let you know that, there wouldn't be anything to engage those behaviors, to check on how things have been and are with you and how you want them to be.
That's true. Gosh.
Okay, so.
No, I was just looking at them. I was thinking, I could walk up to them. I would want to sit right down. I mean, I wouldn't want to stand up.
Uh-huh. Okay, well, wait. We're going to get to that in just a minute. It's
Yeah.
like, do you want to stand up, stand over them and say,
what are you doing? No, exactly. What
sail
are you doing
paper
about it?
airplanes over that way. It goes, that have little warnings on them. Fortune cookies drop in their lap. Okay, now, it's like what am I going to do
Yeah.
about it? Okay, so you can tell they're having a pleasant interaction.
Yeah.
All right. And you have some of that feeling,
Yeah.
okay, that tells you that you really care about him.
Right.
Now, when you look over there at him, you know, sitting there, do you feel love for him?
Yeah.
Do you feel lucky that he's yours?
Gosh. Yeah. It's hard to think of that.
Right then.
But yeah.
Yeah, so you do. Now, do you also, then don't you take that from there, appreciate yourself, like the things that you've done for him to fall in love with you, for him to be in love with you?
Well, yeah.
Of course, right?
It takes a little while
Now,
to bring it up.
What I want you to do before, this is all going, it's like, I don't like you to do this, I like you to go to memories that you have of times when you know that you made him happier than he could be with anyone else. You don't have to talk about him, I just want you to go, and I would like you to go and get 3.
Oh, dear.
I know it's going to be hard work for you to be that sort of
Yeah, because
Give yourself that credit.
right, because I feel like I should check with him, and ask him, well, did this make you happier? But so I feel like, gosh, it's a little presumptuous of me, but I can think of one for sure. I think. Let's see. Oh, yeah.
All right. Now
Yeah, I got 3.
Oh, you've got 3?
Yeah.
Okay, you've got 3. Now, I'd like you to, how are you feeling when you were participating in each of those experiences? Great. Powerful? In a gentle...
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you something. Do you think that those are something that he could forget?
No.
I believe you. Okay. Now, I want you to, with that, I'd like you to take another look over there.
At the...
At the 2 of them
Yeah.
enjoying their conversation with each other.
Yeah.
And that feeling that you know he cannot forget you. And that he loves you. And that he's happy to see you, be with you. And now, do you want to go be with them?
Well, I might go give him a hug.
Okay. So you might go give
Just
him
in
a hug.
happiness. I mean, it's such a neat thought. I might give him a hug. I don't think I would hang out because I feel more like dancing.
You're gonna sit down there with these.
I don't feel so much like sitting down there, but I wouldn't mind giving him a little hug. I don't have to. Like, I can give him a hug across the room, but I might run up and give him a hug.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, I might give him a little hug and then come back to dancing, I think.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you to pick another situation in which you've been jealous, and I'm going to ask you to do something a little different this time as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Could I have some more cleans?
Of course.
The waterworks just go. It's something when you cry when you're happy and sad, because that means it just...
Oh, tears are wonderful. They're definitely the overflowing.
Right, it's just like, it's so nice to look at them and not feel all choked up.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have another one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Let's get a good one here. Good one.
All right, great. And is this a social situation again, or?
Yeah.
All righty. This one looks like it. Okay. Well, tell me about the qualities
Well,
in this interaction.
This is
Serious. Someone's moving in on your man.
This broad is trouble.
Okay. Right. She's good, huh? Besides.
Well, I can see Ruth, though, is rather neutral when I look at it.
Uh-huh.
But this one, it would be a good idea. Well, let's see.
Well, wait. Just first of all, just look at it and
Yeah.
tell me about how you know the kind of interaction that it is. How do you know? I get the information here. Like the hackles are up on the back of your neck, Hazel. It's like someone is moving in on your territory.
Right.
Oh,
And this is a woman who has known Ruth longer than I, so that's a long time.
So there might be.
So I don't know about history, that brings up history. And
Sure. However, she's known him longer than you, and she didn't get him.
Right. That's what I remember intellectually going through.
Okay. Is she putting moves on him?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is really...
Well, not really,
Oh, come on.
Well, yeah, in a way.
All right. So there's that quality
There's
of the
that
interaction.
quality, yeah.
All right. Now, how is he?
He's rather neutral. Come to think of it, he's just standing there and looking at her. Again, it's fascinating. He again is straight up and down, and she's asymmetrical. And there's a quality to her of having removed her clothes. Kind of that quality. I don't know exactly how to put it in words. Not her clothes, but her. When you slip your blouse off your shoulders, kind of that kind of quality. Do you know
Yeah,
that?
yeah. To go take lessons from her sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so she has that.
She has that quality to her, yeah.
Is she making? Never mind. I was going to say, does she look a little foolish since he's? But never mind.
She looks a little lost, is how she looks.
She look like she's a little dependent upon one way to move through the world.
Well, she looks lost. Actually, seeing her from a big distance, my empathy goes out. You know,
Oh,
like,
great! Now we're going to have you run over and do therapy.
No, but
rescue
I mean,
her.
she looks rather lost, actually.
Well, is this something for you to be jealous about, or is this not something?
It's
to
not.
It's not
really, because she's inappropriate. It's more. Yeah.
Okay, so it's more like embarrassing, a little.
Yeah,
She's inappropriate.
I hadn't seen that before. No,
Okay, all
I
right.
hadn't seen that before.
Well, what do you want to do about this? I mean, you want to rescue him from this interaction,
not really.
or he can take care of himself?
Well, I think it would be neat to be able to walk up to him. It's funny, I go in the opposite direction, you know. It would be neat to go up and just, and like that.
Yeah, slip your arm around
Right,
him.
and just stand there. I wouldn't even mind interacting with her. I mean,
Mhm.
this isn't a parking lot. She's a little lost.
Yeah, making moves.
In the daylight, and it's very hot out, and I mean, it's not, it's. I would like to be friendly with her, actually, looking at her, Yeah.
Okay, well, come up with another example.
Okay.
Okay.
Can this be an example where the person isn't there, and I'm just hearing about the person?
Yes.
Because that does it too.
Oh, great.
I've got
Sure,
one
we have to
very
cover that one
recent
too.
I've got a very recent one. On
Okay,
that.
well, let's save that one.
Okay.
All right. Have you got another one where it was actually?
Yep.
Okay. All righty. So this one tells you be jealous.
Well, this one, I go be jealous when I have never had a reason to be jealous with this man, and I just go be jealous, It's
Well,
not-
as you look at it now, is this an interaction to have that feeling that says warning?
Well, the trip of it is he's never given me. Whenever I look at him in the pictures, I go, just like I did in real life, like, it's cool, he's fine, and then I go, I still...
That's all right. That's okay. So you get a warning.
Yeah, even though intellectually I can go, he's...
We don't need intellectually.
Right, but I
Okay.
still go...
As
so I've
long as
got
you
it.
can see that, though, as long as you can see that quality, the qualities to their interaction. Is this a friendly conversation between two people? Is this something that has, some tension, some juice that's at least going from in one
There's
direction?
juice, there's
All right,
juice
there's
there.
juice. Okay, so you get the warning that
Right,
tells
then
you,
I go.
all right, that, hey, this man's important to me,
Right,
and I want him to be happier with me than anyone else.
right.
Yeah, and I want you to remember about those experiences that you've given him that he can't forget. Take a deep breath, yeah.
It changes the picture. It's really funny. It really changes the picture. I mean, it doesn't change the picture, but it changes how it
you
looks
feel.
to me, yeah.
Okay, well it doesn't have to make it all go away.
No, it doesn't
But-
go away, but I mean, it just definitely changes it.
Well, then you can feel loved. And you know that you're lovable
Yeah.
based on
Yeah.
actual experiences
Yeah, that's the
that
difference.
he can't forget.
Yeah, I feel better.
Well, that's what's important right here.
Yeah, I feel better. So the picture doesn't look so bad.
Okay, I'm going to ask you something, too. To take a look at that picture, you know that you have given him these experiences. I want you to consider for a moment as well, how are things between you right now, whatever the right now is?
I mean, in that film?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mhm.
fine.
They're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like you to think of something to do that you want to do at the next opportunity, the next time you're alone, that really, really makes him feel loved.
You mean the next time at that party that we're alone?
The
Yeah.
next time you're going to be alone with him. So that's going on there, and you
Oh.
look at him, and you get that warning,
Yeah.
that goes, this man's really important to me, and I'm paying attention to what's going on because my well-being does have something to do with that, and then remembering seeing him, how much you love him, and remembering those experiences. that you have given to him, so you can feel reassured.
I can think of what to do.
So you can think of what to do. Do you want to? Do you want to do that? The next time that you have the opportunity and you're alone with him?
I'd much rather do that than the other things that I could do.
So you'd much rather. Do you really want to do that? The next time you're alone. So it's like you want to know. You want to be fully reassured through time. That
so
he
far
is.
out. So
that he is happier with you than he could be with anyone else. And you have the past experiences. You want to know that there's one in your future, too.
this is a good idea. Yeah, I can think of something to do.
Okay.
I can think of a bunch of things to do. But I can think of the first thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So that gives you something to do that you know. It's like even if. So he might have a good time feeling like someone finds him attractive.
Yeah.
But to be loved by you is incomparable.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, well, I'd like you to go to another example of in person, and then I'd like to go to the ones I'd like to do somewhere.
Another example in person.
Yes, because they're actually harder when you're told about them or this or that. So I'd like to do another one of those in-person ones first.
Okay.
Okay, got one? Now, have you moved it up a little more?
Yeah, this is closer.
This
Yeah,
is closer,
Funny,
yeah.
yeah. Mm.
Yeah, the focus of your eye has changed. Oh, this one's right behind me.
Right, not very far into the archives. Okay.
Okay, so you can see the quality of the interaction.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
They're having a nice time.
They're having a nice time.
Right.
With each other.
Right.
Okay. And you get that feeling. Do you get the feeling that of a warning thing?
Yeah.
So
And
Joe
not
is
as
warning.
strong as some of the, but it's definitely there.
Okay, so it brings your attention to pay attention.
Right. I'm feeling pretty good right now. I think that's why it's less. But yeah, I definitely do feel it.
Yeah,
I
well,
can go into it.
Okay, so there's always that to check on.
Right. It's
So that
there.
you come out and watch what's the quality of this interaction.
Right.
Do I need to rescue him from something? Do I need to make my presence? You know, what is this? But more than anything else, then it's information that that man is important to you. You love him.
Yeah.
And to remember how much he loves you. And those experiences that he can't forget. The things that you have given to him. Okay, and I want you to look at him. I want you to think of what you're going to do in the future, because you want to keep him happier with you. And do you have something to do with him later?
I just thought of something.
Okay, all right. Now, what do you want to do in this situation?
I think let them talk. What I'd like to do is feel good about myself, like I just did,
Yes.
and about
Yes.
us, and about him, and I even feel good about him having a good time. That feels good too. And then I felt really excited about what I was going to do with him. Good about that. But right now, I would rather go check on our other guests. I would rather check in with them.
Okay. Now, I want to ask them, are you sure? I'd like you to check back and sort of look through it. Do you want to go over and, it's like, do you want to go over it all? Do you want to join in with them?
But it would be
Are
fun
you
to
just-
check in just for a minute or two.
Okay.
Even, that would be fun. Just going to slip under his arm and,
Uh-huh.
and just check in with the two
Let
of
him
them.
kind of
Well, just,
get your scent.
just to check in. But I don't want to stay and talk.
Okay, so you have other things that you want to do.
Yeah.
And
But
so
I
you can come in and check in comfortably, knowing that he loves you.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I'd like to do is to ask him to dance later. I might say, how about a dance later on?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because that's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
We're learning.
Now,
Yeah.
Will you do that? Is there
Yeah.
anything, so you have everything?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's shift over now to one of these where you do it on the inside.
Yeah, I got one of those.
All right. Okay, tell me about it.
Well, Root can even mention an interaction with a woman during his day, and I'll feel that.
Warning. Okay. So you get the warning that goes, I want to know what's going on. Well, is there anything about the way, so all it is a woman's name?
Well, I need to, I mean, the fact that it's not all women. For instance, if it's a woman I know, then I don't feel that way.
Okay, so if it's a woman you know,
right,
then you don't feel that way. Is that, do you make images of?
Yes, I make images of.
And so if you have the woman, you know who she is.
If it's someone I've just met, that counts. But I mean someone I know well, then that's different. It's usually someone I don't know very well, who I've seen or I've never seen.
Okay. And
never seen is worse than seen.
Okay. So you don't know what to put in the picture.
Right. So I make it really.
What? X-rated, is that?
Yeah, I just go. Yeah.
All right, so you get that.
Right, and the
feeling.
only thing that I've found in the past that helps is to tell myself, to find out about the interaction.
Yes.
If I can find out as much as possible, that, oh, what did you do? You know?
Do you say this through clenched teeth?
I try not to.
Okay, so when he mentions, so something happened recently.
Yeah.
All right, and you know you want more information.
Right.
So that feeling happens just enough to let you know, I want more information about this.
Right, but I'd love not to have to get the information. Like, it's never enough information. It's like, if I had a video of the whole thing, it might be enough.
You would still want to know what was going on inside of him while...
Right. You know, and I don't want to harp with questions. That just makes me feel worse.
Well, the only way this is possible is because you forget that he loves you and that he's telling you about this.
Right.
He's sharing his day with you. You sort of lose track of the context. He's telling you about his day. He's telling you, and it includes some interaction with a woman.
Yeah.
And it's like he's sharing it with you like he shares a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to tell you. He has told you, and he's going to tell you about his day and the women that he interacts with and that. Now, you don't know her, is there anything about the way if he goes, ugh, you know, and starts complaining,
then
you don't get the...
No.
Okay.
But if he just goes, I had a far out time today, this neat conversation, or so-and-so said this. It doesn't have to be very it doesn't have to be very embellished. Well, Lucille said, and I go, Lucille, right in my Right.
Okay. What is it mostly that you want to know, of all the things you want to know?
Well, just what good feeling comes over me of that everything's great between us, and that his having a good time elsewhere doesn't change that. Right. Right. It's really what a tragedy to let his having a good time someplace else take away. Especially because he comes home then with a good juice, right? I'm for that. You don't have to do all that remedial work and putting him into a good mood. Right. Okay. Well, this is what I'd like you to do. Only this time, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to start with these feelings, and then I'd like you to listen to him again, tell you about whatever it was, the most recent time. And what happens? Well, it was more like I was interested.
So it's more like you could just be interested.
Right, I was interested in what he was saying.
Isn't that novel? What some security will do.
Right. I was interested.
Mm-hmm. So feeling loved and feeling how lovable you are, and the basis for that, so you can be interested. Yeah. But think of some other example.
it's quite different. It's quite different. It's very different, actually. Oh, yeah.
Okay. And how do you think about treating him, being with him, while he's telling you those things with these feelings?
Well, different than I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like responding to him in the way I usually do.
Those other times.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go back to some past experience, okay, where you were jealous, and you remember what you did do, however it transpired.
I mean, anyone?
Yeah, and I'd like you to go back,
Yeah.
and I'd like you to start it from the beginning.
Yeah.
And just find out what happened so we can...
Okay.
Okay.
I hear him a lot better. Far out. I believe him. I mean, I believe what he's saying. Whereas in the other state, I needed lots of evidence or lots of information, or I'm just listening.
Now, the only other thing I'd like you to do, I'd like you to go back to another one. And while he's telling you, I'd like you to look at something, okay? I'd like you to look at him, and I'd like you to notice whether or not, you to ask the question on the inside, does he know how much I love him? While he's telling you.
Oh.
Okay?
Let me think. Let me get a good one here.
Okay.
I got a good one.
I believe you.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. He's very confident about that.
So he feels love, so you let him know.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't have any trouble with that at all.
Great. I want you to go. I want you to take another look. I want you to ask something else. What is it that he wants while he's telling you?
Just to share his experiences.
Yeah.
Like, that's real important to him.
So he wants you to be a part of.
Yeah. And I know one of the ways he knows he's loved is by my being interested in his experiences.
So he wants you to be a part
of his experiences.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And my listening and being interested is real important to him.
One of the ways he knows that you love him.
Right.
And one of the ways he lets you know that he loves you.
Right.
Is to tell you.
Right.
About his experiences.
Right.
Okay. Well, let's have you go get any example. In person, one, or one where he's telling you, and just find out what it's like.
Oh, I got a good one. Far out. Things are much slower.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's not talking slower, but it's oh, no, it's like that. It's like it's all slowed down.
It gives you a lot of time to have choices,
and to
have
perceive
feelings.
what's happening.
Mm-hmm. so that you have choices about how to respond based on what's going on there and with you, in terms of what you most want to preserve, what you most want to maintain, and what you most want him and you to experience.
Right. I'm going to change it a little. I'd like to do something that I didn't do.
Oh, yes.
I'm doing a whole lot of things I didn't do, but nothing that shows, because he doesn't know about this. I'm pretty cool about it, right? No, but,
right, I'm sure he's never noticed.
Well, yeah, I know he's noticed, but yeah, no, I want to, I'd like to do something that would let him know how much I love him. I'm going to add some
go
stuff,
ahead.
yeah. That's nice.
You like it too, I think.
Yeah, that's really good.
Okay. I'd like you to go now. When do you think the next time's going to be?
Oh, Lord.
That you're going to have the opportunity?
Could be today.
Could be today. Okay.
Could be tomorrow.
Could be tomorrow. So what sort of situation? You think you'll be with other people or just
at home?
At
and
home?
He's telling me about his day.
Okay, so it might be the end of today.
Yeah.
All right. So I'd like you to think about when you'll see him first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then imagine him telling you, and imagine
It's really different.
do you have, how are you responding to him?
Well, I'm interested. I am interested.
It's going to be, it's going to be really fun at first because you start doing that and you'll look at him and, and all these feelings are associated with your very best times. He's going, well, he's going to be surprised.
I'm not so sure he'll notice, actually, but because he goes on talking. I mean, he's talking about his day.
Mm-hmm.
And when he talks, he doesn't really look at me. He doesn't look at, it's not his style. He looks aside, and so like,
So you'll feel different.
yeah, I feel real different.
Do you feel like moving closer to him? Do you feel...
Well, what I did was, like, he said the story, and he told about this really neat girl he met, and who I haven't even met yet, which used to be the worst, right? and then I listened, and I had those good feelings. And then we took a cool drink up on the hill behind the house. Just
spend some special time together?
Yeah, just had a good time.
Okay, great. Now, I'd like you to do one more into the future with where you're in person.
Okay.
Okay.
That one. I mean,
you can imagine this happening.
It's amazing that I can just get them just like that. I think that's terrific.
Well, and it's like, it's obviously it's been something you felt often enough that it's like been, it's a category of experience.
Yeah, and there's been a future thing I've been worried about with it too. Here we go. Let's see. That's really nice. The feeling lasts, even when we're not together at the party.
Yeah.
Yeah, the feeling lasts.
Well, Hazel, it's been, what, 7 weeks? No, less than that.
Less than that. 4, I think. Yeah.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's been 4 weeks. since your session with Leslie. How are you? You look terrific.
I'm good. I'm really good. But I was really good then too, except in one particular situation called feeling jealous.
Yeah, well, what's going on with that?
It's real different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, the first 5 or 6 days, I didn't notice so much. And I realized later it was I didn't notice because there was the absence of it, as opposed to being in it. You know, you don't see things as well when you can't see them. And then I started to become aware of when Root was talking about women, particularly women I didn't know. And as he was talking about the woman, the biggest change that occurred was it all seemed slower. That's the biggest change every time, is that it's slower. And my reactions are a little different each time, and what I'm looking for is a little different, but it's always slower.
It gives you time
That is great.
to notice what's going on
It's great.
and to remember things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
What else? Are there other things going on that...
Well, it's strange. I noticed something about 2 weeks ago, and that is that I feel, well, it was such a new idea that Root would want to stay with me, that I was special to him. That was a whole new idea. And that kind of spread out over our lives together. So even in thinking about the future and moving someplace else or working and following our careers, I'm not as afraid about what changes might occur, because the idea that I'm a constant in his life seems more obvious to me.
Yeah. So when you go out into the future now, it includes both of you.
Well, right. It suddenly occurred to me that he wouldn't want to particularly change me in. You know, that since that session, it occurs to me that I'm me, and that's something different from anybody else.
Yeah. You're you, and that's what he loves, you.
Yeah. And that was, that's been incredible. That's, you know, I tend to judge it a little bit, but it feels pretty good, pretty powerful to feel that way.
Well, that must be wonderful.
Yeah, it is.
Is it wonderful for him?
Well, I'm not sure, except that finally, about 2 weeks ago, I told him what we had worked on in the session. And he went, jealousy. And I said, uh-huh. And he said, well, you haven't been jealous lately, have you? And I went, no. He said, great. And that was as far as he knows, that's the extent of it.
So he just gets to enjoy the benefits.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I told him just last night, in fact, about this interchangeable, that I could be mixed and matched with anybody available, and he thought it was a riot. He laughed heartily at the idea. It was such a strange idea to him that I didn't know that. So it wasn't his problem.
Well, it doesn't sound like it's either one of your problems now.
No, that's true. I'm amazed.